because I hope you are talking to people who are still undecided. I hope the conversation isn't just about policy. I hope it's also about values, about decency. If you're a small business owner who thinks Democrats are too quick to regulate, that's a legitimate debate to have. But what does it say when Donald Trump's history as a businessman is littered with so many scams and lawsuits that people in his own hometown don't want to work with him? Would you do business with someone like that? And if you wouldn't, why would you want him as your president? Regardless of what your party affiliation is. If you're a union member, think about who's more likely to look out for your interests. Someone like Kamala, who has stood up for working people all her life, or somebody like Donald Trump, who has encouraged union busting and stiffed his own workers. If he cheats them, what's he going to do for you? If you're a service member who's used to voting Republican because you think traditionally they've been tougher on national defense, I understand that. We can have that debate. But what does it tell you that some of this country's most decorated soldiers and Marines, men who served under Donald Trump as his chief of staff, as the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, have seen Donald Trump up close, and they have said that he is scornful toward those who have made the ultimate sacrifice, that he does not understand the concepts of duty and honor, and that he is not fit to serve as our commander-in-chief. If you are black or Latino, and you feel like too often your community is overlooked by politicians except during election time, I get how you feel. But why would you think the answer is to vote for someone who has a long history of demeaning and disregarding your communities, whose family business was sued for not renting to folks that look like you, who cannot apparently understand how an NBA superstar could be both Greek and black, who suggests any Mexican crossing the border is a criminal and a rapist, who spreads ridiculous fantasies that Haitians are eating people's pets, who just this past week arranged for one of his supporters to tell jokes about black people eating watermelon and Puerto Rico being an island of garbage right there on stage at Madison Square Garden. Do you think that's somebody who's going to look out for you? Maybe you're Muslim American or Jewish American, and you are heartbroken and furious about the ongoing bloodshed in the Middle East and worried about the rise of anti-Semitism. Why would you place your faith in somebody who instituted a so-called Muslim ban, who sat down for pleasantries with Holocaust deniers, who said that there were very fine people on both sides of a white supremacist rally? And if any of you have a dad or an uncle or a coworker or a drinking buddy who says he's thinking about voting for Trump because he's tired of cancel culture, or because he's uncomfortable with Kamala's position on transgender issues, or because he just thinks that America needs a strong, tough leader who will get stuff done, you might want to ask them, with respect and with love, what evidence do we have that Donald Trump actually got stuff done? And since when exactly is Trump's trademark behavior, the boasting and the bullying and the selfishness and the cruelty, since when is that a sign of strength? That is not what real strength looks like, Milwaukee. It never has been. Real strength is about working hard and taking responsibility and telling the truth even when it's inconvenient. Real strength about helping people who need it and standing up for those who can't always stand up for themselves. That's what we should want in our daughters and in our sons, and that's what I want to see in the President of the United States of America. And fortunately, in Kamala Harris and Tim Walz, you have candidates to vote for in this election who demonstrate that kind of character, who know what real strength looks like, who will set a good example and do the right thing and leave this country better than they found it. So if you are still on the fence in this election, think about what really matters. Think about the values we were taught by our parents and our grandparents. Think about the kind of country we want to be. And understand that your vote really does count. Here in Wisconsin, a single precinct might be decided by 10 or 20 votes. And those votes could determine the fate of our republic, the world that our children and grandchildren will inherit. That is an awesome responsibility. But what an extraordinary privilege that is. To live in a democracy that gives each of us the chance to make a difference, gives each of us the chance to make our voices heard. So, together, let's seize that opportunity. Let's vote for Kamala Harris as the next President of the United States. Let's vote for Tim Walz as the next Vice President of the United States. Let's help our friends and family members and neighbors and co-workers do the same. Because if enough of us make our voices heard, we will leave no doubt about the outcome of this election. We will leave no doubt about who we are and what America stands for. And together we will keep building a country that is more fair and more just and more equal and more free. Let's get to work.